Imagine Jesus walking along a wet beach. His disciples follow behind him, their sandals sinking into the sand. But when they look back, Jesus has left no footprints. Because according to some early Christians, he didn't have a real body. He only seemed to. This wasn't some fringe cult idea. This was a serious theological position held by members of the same community that produced the Gospel of John. And the author of 1 John calls these people something terrifying, antichrists. So who believed Jesus was a ghost, and who were the antichrists the author was so furious about? To understand, we need to go inside a community at war with itself, the Johannine community, the early Christian group behind the Gospel of John, has fractured. 1 John is a letter written to those who stayed about those who left, and the author is not gentle about it. 1 John chapter 2, verse 18, many antichrists have come. The word antichrist conjures images of apocalyptic villains, a single monstrous figure from the end times. But the text says something shockingly different. Verse 19, they went out from among us. These antichrists are not demonic outsiders. They are former insiders. People who sat next to you, broke bread with you, prayed with you, and then walked away. The author adds a bitter footnote. They did not belong to us. And that's retrospective judgment. He's rewriting the community's history to say these people were never truly part of the group. This is a community processing betrayal. Verse 22 names the first error, the one who denies that Jesus is the Christ. This group held what scholars call a too low Christology. Christology meaning beliefs about the nature of Jesus. They may have accepted Jesus as a teacher or prophet, but denied his divinity. He was not the Messiah, not the Son of God, just a man. This mirrors conflicts already visible in the Gospel of John, where followers abandon Jesus over his divine claims. But the second group made the opposite error. They fully accepted Jesus' divinity and concluded he could not have been truly human. A divine being, eternal and transcendent, cannot inhabit rotting flesh, so Jesus only appeared to have a body. He only seemed to eat, to bleed, to die. This position has a name, Docetism, from the Greek word dokeo, meaning to seem or to appear. Follow the Docetic logic step by step. God is eternal, flesh rots and dies. A divine being cannot be flesh, therefore Jesus only appeared to have a body. He walked among us but left no footprints. He ate with us but needed no food. He bled on the cross but felt no pain. This chain of reasoning is perfectly logical, and that's exactly what makes it so dangerous. It's not absurd, it's elegant. It solves a real philosophical problem. The author of 1 John treats it as a fundamental heresy. So the community has fractured in two directions. One, denying divinity, the other, denying humanity. How does the author fight back? With a test, and with the most physical, tactile language he can master. 1 John chapter 4, verses 2 and 3. The author establishes a litmus test for true belief. Every spirit that confesses that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh is from God. 3 words in the flesh carry the entire weight of the argument. It's not enough to confess Jesus is divine. You must confess he was physically, bodily, materially real, flesh and blood, bone and sinew. And anyone who refuses this confession, the author doesn't mince words, this is the spirit of the Antichrist. The term Antichrist is aimed directly at the Doctists who deny Jesus' physical body. Now look at how 1 John opens. Chapter 1, verse 1. What was from the beginning, what we have heard, what we have seen with our eyes, what we have looked at and touched with our hands. Every single verb is physical, sensory, embodied, heard, seen, looked at, touched. This is anti-docetic polemic disguised as an introduction. The author is piling up sensory evidence like a lawyer building a case, and that final verb, touched with our hands echoes the Gospel of John, chapter 20, where Thomas puts his fingers into Jesus' wounds. The message is unmistakable. This was a real body. We touched it. It bled. Here's what makes the author's position so remarkable. He's not choosing a side on a spectrum. He's refusing the spectrum entirely. The easy positions are pick divinity or pick humanity. One side says Jesus was just a man. The other says he was pure spirit wearing a costume of flesh. The author insists on the hardest claim. Jesus is truly divine and truly human. Not a compromise between the two, not half and half. Both, fully. This is paradoxical. It sounds contradictory. And it is the position that would become orthodox Christian doctrine at the Council of Chalcedon in 451 CE. This reframes how we read the New Testament. Next time you encounter the word antichrist, remember, in its original context, it does not mean a single apocalyptic villain. It refers to theological opponents within the community, people who got Christology wrong in one direction or the other. The Johannine community's crisis also reveals a pattern that recurs across 4 centuries of Christian history. Every major Christological controversy is a variation on this same tension. The author of 1 John refused to let go of either claim, divinity or humanity. And that refusal, that insistence on holding together what logic wants to pull apart, became the beating heart of Christian orthodoxy. The hardest position to hold turned out to be the one that endured.